Do what only you can do. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Before I continue, I just want to encourage every one of us. For those of you that want to get a visual view of today's teaching, we have links. If you can share the link, we're live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And we can share the link to our friends. We can share the links to our loved ones. We're also live on Twitter Space and on MixLR. So all of the links have been shared. Just share the links, join as we take on this very simple. I have 30 minutes to just really break down very simple teaching, but I also believe will be very impactful as well. The growing leader. You see, we are all leaders, and one of the key foundation of our mission or objective in Spectacular Church is really to build influential leaders. Influence is key for us, and one of the ways which you influence is leading or being a competent, capable leader. And that's why we dedicate more Tuesdays for our leadership masterclass, where we really take our time to teach our members ourselves how to be great leaders. We want to be great leaders. We want to lead in our communities. We want to lead in our workplaces. We want to lead correctly. We want people to see us as great leaders. And today, I want to teach us an important aspect of leadership or an important concept of leadership called the growing leader. Who is the growing leader? The growing leader is someone that puts a premium on continuous improvement. A growing leader puts a premium on continuous improvements. It puts a premium on continuous progress. A growing leader is someone that is always making progress, looking for room for improvement. A growing leader is never satisfied. They are content but not satisfied. It means for them there's always room for more. In my notes, I said that a growing leader is the leader made of more. A growing leader is the more leader. There's always more. There's always more for the growing leader. The growing leader wants to be more, wants to do more, wants to attain more, wants to lead the team to more. A growing leader is never stagnant. A growing leader is willing to push further. It's called the further leader. It's always pushing further, finding ways to make it better. That's what a growing leader is. A growing leader is always finding ways to make it better. How do we make it better? How do we improve? Now, very important quality of a growing leader is that a growing leader leads a growing team. I'll say that again. A growing leader leads a growing team, and a growing leader is led by a growing vision. Write it down. A growing leader leads a growing team, and a growing leader is led by a growing vision. And so the vision is always growing for the growing leader. It's not stagnant. So a growing leader is ever expanding in the vision. And because the vision is expanding, the leader is growing into that person they need to become to achieve that growing vision. And the team that the lead will grow along with the leader. Now, hear me. Hear me very clearly. You are limited by the growth of your leader. And so, if you want to grow, you need to find a growing leader. And that leader is a growing leader because the vision is growing. You can't be the same to achieve a growing vision. The vision is ever expanding. And so, therefore, the need to keep growing, expanding, improving, becoming better in order for you to attain the growing vision. And so, in the Spectacular Church, we have made it a point of duty to keep our vision growing because keeping the vision growing guarantees that we as leaders must grow up to that vision. And so we keep everyone growing because the vision is growing, the leader is growing, the leaders are growing, and the people are growing alongside with the leader. And so every organization, every team desires to have a leader with a growth mindset who wants to grow. And so a growing leader is desirous of growing. The growing leader is passionate about growing, sees the need for improvement, sees the need to make it better, sees the need to be more. That's who a growing leader is. And so today, my objective is very simple. My objective is to show you the advantage of being a growing leader. My objective is to show you how you can be a growing leader. So that's what I want to achieve today. And I'm going to achieve that today by telling you 6 important habits of a growing leader. 6 important habits. Write it down. 6 important habits of a growing leader. What are the 6 important habits that you see in a growing leader that we must imbibe in order for us to be growing leaders? Number one, and I'm going to speak to them very quickly. Number one is that a growing leader listens. I call them the 6 L's. There's the 6 L's for simplicity. Make it very simple. So, number one is the growing leader listens. A growing leader doesn't listen to respond, a growing leader listens to understand. A growing leader is ready to listen to everybody, listen to the complaints, listen to the feedbacks, listen to the not so good feedbacks. Listen, they're just willing to listen. A growing leader has a high level listening skills. They listen. You cannot be a growing leader if you're lacking in the area of listening. You're not able to listen to your people. You're not able to listen to feedbacks, to your superiors, to your colleagues, to everyone. But a growing leader is a very good listener. They listen. They are able to listen to the people. They're able to listen and hear what they're saying. Sometimes hear what they're not saying. That's what a growing leader does. They're not listening to react. They are listening to understand. They first want to understand before they even respond. A growing leader does more listening than talking. A growing leader wants to listen. Then the first quality that you must have as a growing leader is great listening capabilities. And so, if you desire to be a growing leader, you must develop your listening capabilities. You must be willing to listen to every important information and not just listen or just react. No, you're listening so that you can understand, then respond. For the growing leader, the sequence is listen, understand, respond. Not listen and just give a feed no and just listen to give my to fire back. Some people just listen to fire back. They would miss everything. They just pick one thing and boom, they're firing. No, a growing leader has good listening skills and they're willing to listen. And so I want you to make up your mind. If you're not a very good listener, say, I will work on my listening skills. I will work on my listening skills. And how do you develop your listening skills? You develop your listening skills by being more intentional, being in the present. When you are in a conversation and having a discussion, listen. Actually listen. Get the crux of what is being said so that you are able to understand. The goal is to understand. The goal is to have a full understanding of what is being communicated. That's what a growing leader does. So, number one key habit of a growing leader is that they listen. They know how to listen. They are willing to listen. They give their ears, their attention. They have. A growing leader doesn't just hear, so you can hear something. I mean, you can hear a language that you don't understand, and you're just listening to the person, but you're not really understanding. So, a growing leader is not just hearing, is listening. There's more intensity. You're not just hearing the thing, you're listening, you're giving attention so that you are able to understand. At the end of the day, the goal of listening must be to understand, to fully comprehend. And growing leaders are able to harness this capability to fully understand. It helps them to respond. Don't listen to reply, listen to understand, then you respond. And growing leaders have these capabilities. Sometimes you see them, they're just there, they're just listening to you and they're smiling. You're talking and you're talking to listeners, fine. Okay. They're even asking you more questions to get better clarity. You see them ask more questions to get better clarity. That's to show that they're listening. Growing leaders are good listeners. They're not quick to speak, they want to hear more. Number two, a growing leader is a learner. They're willing to learn. They learn from their mistakes. They learn from, for growing leaders, mistakes are learning experience. They learn from everything. They learn from other people's mistakes. They learn. Growing leaders they are voracious learners. They're willing to learn. And so until you are willing to imbibe a skill, and I said this before, I'll say it again. The skill of the future is the capacity to learn. If you want to be relevant in the future, you must have a skill called learning skills. Your capacity to learn new things. A growing leader has capacity to learn. Well, one of the reasons why you go to school, you go to your conventional school, is really to help you know how to learn. Well, that's the key thing you must get out of school, is to know how to learn new things, how to learn, understand things, grasp things, unlearn and relearn. And so a growing leader is a great learner. They're willing to learn from their mistakes. They have high level curiosity. They learn from the experience of others. They learn from those ahead of them. They learn from more experienced specialists. They're willing to take courses. They don't know it all. A growing leader recognizes that they don't know it all. That's one of the key things about growing leaders. They realize they know they don't know it all, and they're willing to learn. They are willing to get better understanding, learn new skills. They're willing to learn the new trends. They want to stay ahead. The growing leader stays ahead, so they are learning. Don't forget, the growing leader is led by a growing vision. That vision is ever growing. And so, in order for the growing leader to be able to achieve that vision, he must grow into the person that he needs to become to achieve that vision. The bigger or the more that vision grows, the more the need for the leader to keep growing. And so, a growing leader knows this, and they're always ready to learn. They keep learning. They're always learning. And so they're learning new things. They're learning from their mistakes. They're learning from others. They just want to learn. They go for trainings and programs. You see them buying books and they're reading. They attend programs like this. Everyone in this meeting right now listening to me is a growing leader. You say, what does Michael want to say that I don't know? Some people have that mindset. Oh, there's nothing I don't know. There are many things you don't know. And a growing leader has that high level of curiosity. They want to learn. They are learning important things that they need to be better. You see? So everyone in this meeting, under the sound of my voice, is a growing leader. They're here because they know that, oh, I'm going to learn something new today. You see? So a growing leader listens, number one. And a growing leader learns. They're great learners. They're willing to learn. They're always learning better ways to do things. Oh, yes, this is a good way to do it. Can it be done better? A growing leader is always learning. They're learning. They're not afraid to make mistakes. For them, when they make mistakes, they learn from the mistakes. They don't get themselves beat down. They don't stay there. They are always willing to learn. That's who a growing leader is. He is willing to learn. Thank you, Jesus. Number three, a growing leader looks. A growing leader looks. He looks for areas of improvement. He looks for ways to challenge themselves. A growing leader looks outside the comfort zone. A growing leader looks for focus areas. So a growing leader is always looking. They're always looking for areas of improvement. They're always looking for new challenges. You're always looking for the new things happening. They're always looking. They're looking, keep looking. So a growing leader is always looking. They're always looking ahead. They're always looking for areas to improve things. They're always looking for new challenges. They're always looking outside their comfort zone. Their eyes is always ahead. Oh, I'm attending to this. They're looking ahead. They're always looking. So a growing leader is a looking leader. They keep looking. They keep searching. That's what a growing leader. They're looking. And you see, they don't just stay. A growing leader just say, oh, I'll stop looking. No, they are always looking for better ways to get things done. How do we improve this process? They're looking. They're always looking. And you know what about growing leaders? Growing leaders, when they need help, they look for help. When they know they can't, they don't just stay there and start wailing and complaining and say, oh. They look for help. They look for someone that can do it better and get them to join the team. They look for help when they need help. A great leader does not waste time, sit down there. They know they don't have the skill, they don't have the capacity to solve the problem, and they're just wailing. They are actively looking, always looking. They're looking for the best who to add to the team. What skill, what can we add to make it better? What can we add to make this organization better, this team better, this community better, this home better? They're always looking. What can I do better? Always looking, evaluating themselves, evaluating the team, evaluating the process. A growing leader is always looking. A growing leader, like I said, they're not satisfied, so they are always looking. They never stop looking. They're looking for new things. You see them looking, they're searching. And so, you as a growing leader, you must be willing to look outside your comfort zone. You must be willing to look outside your comfort area, to look beyond the horizon. That's what growing leaders do. They look beyond the horizon, they look beyond their comfort zone. They are always looking for what to make better, looking for how to improve things. They are always looking. A growing leader is always looking for what is ahead. And when they need help, they look for the help. They don't sit down and wail. They're looking. And so, you, as a growing leader, you must make up your mind that you will listen, that you will learn, and you will keep looking. You won't stop and say, oh man, they will look, they will climb up and look. They will look for those what needs to be done. A growing leader is always looking for what needs to be done. How can we make this thing better? They're looking. Oh, what is going on out there? Let's check what's going on. What are they doing better? They're looking. A growing leader has powerful vision. They, they can see very well, and they are always looking. They look. They never stop looking because that's how they grow, when they keep looking. And so, you, as a growing leader, you must make up your mind that you will keep looking. You must make up your mind that you will keep looking. Number 4, a growing leader loves. They love growing. So they're not just doing all of these things because, I just want to do it. They love progress. They love improvements. They love to see things get better. They actually love growth. They're not just growing for growing's sake. A growing leader loves it. So, you see, when you do something from the standpoint of love, you go deeper. So, a growing leader wants to grow, not just because they want to, but they actually love the growth process. They love to see the team grow. They love to see themselves grow. And so, they are willing. And so, for them, growing is what they love. They are doing when they are growing and doing the things that make them grow, is doing the things that they love. Think about it. A growing leader does what they need to do to grow, but they're not just doing it. They love what they are doing because it helps them grow. And so, when you, as a growing leader, make up your mind to love growth, you will do the things that you love because it's something you love. You love growing. You want to grow. So, a growing leader loves growth. They love progress. They love improvement. They hate status quo. Growing leader hates stagnance. They have a deep-seated hatred for stagnation. They can't stand it. They want to grow. They want to be better. That's what one of the key things about growing leaders. It's a passion that burns in them. And you keep asking them, is it not enough? You keep hearing one thing about growing leaders is you always want to hear, is it not enough? It's like, no, a growing leader is not enough. They're grateful. Don't forget, I mean, they're grateful and all that. They're happy, but for them, growth is important. They love growth. And so they desire it. They long for it. And so growing leaders are willing to go the extra mile because this is what they love. Think about the things that you do for what you love. For a moment, I want you to sit down for a moment and think about the things that you do for what you love. The things that you have had to do for what you love. Think about it. Some of us have gone the extra mile for the things that we love. So growing leaders love growth. They see growth as something that is not just them punishing themselves and all of that. It's something they love the experience. They love the entire experience of growing. It gives them this great satisfaction. And so they continue in it. And so a growing leader loves growing. They love it. They're not just growing because okay, I just want to go. No, they love growth. So that's number 4. A growing leader loves growth. Number 5 is that a growing leader lives what they live it. They are living the growth. And so you're learning, you're living it out. Right? A growing leader actions the learning. A growing leader actions the learning. A growing leader actions the knowledge. A growing leader is not just learning. A growing leader is not just listening. A growing leader actions everything that they're learning. They are putting it into action. They are living it out. They're living out. So one of the ways that you grow actually is not just acquiring knowledge, but living out the knowledge. And so a growing leader lives out the knowledge, essentially. They live out the lessons. A growing leader lives out the values. A growing leader does someone that will say, oh, let's be more respectful. Let's be more this, more that. A growing leader will say that and become more respectful, more loving. That's what a growing leader does. So all of these things that I've spoken to, you must see it in the growing leader. The growing leader is saying we need to grow, we need to grow. But the growing leader is you see that growth, is living out the growth. And so every growing leader lives it. They live it. They don't talk the growth, they live the growth. It's one thing, it's easy to talk the growth. Anyone can talk growth, but living out the growth, living out the growth is where the work is. And so the growing leader is ready to put in the work. Living the growth is where the work is. A growing leader is ready to put in the work to grow. And so they model good examples. A growing leader models the examples. A growing leader models it. So everyone can see that, this leader is growing. He's not just talking about growth. I can see the evidence of the growth in them. And so you see then that a growing leader is able to listen, they're able to learn, they're able to love, they're able to live out everything that they're learning. That's what growing leaders do. They're able to live out everything that they're learning. So they start with capacity to listen, capacity to learn, capacity to look. They're able to look and they love everything that they're doing and they live it out. So they're always making progress. You see the progress in the life of a growing leader. You see it. You say this leader is getting better. You know, it's a good thing to be a leader that is getting better. You're not the same. You're not the same. You're improving. You're adding more to yourself. You're becoming better every day. The knowledge is not just something you're acquiring. The knowledge is something you're living. The lessons are not just lessons that you're learning. They're lessons that you're living out. You're not just looking for improvement. You are living the improvements. You see what I'm saying? So you're not just looking for more. You are living the more. You're putting in the work. And so a growing leader actions all the lessons. A growing leader actions the values. A growing leader lives out and models every improvement that they want to see. So a growing leader wants to see an improvement. They want to see improvement everywhere. Say, hey guys, we need to put in more effort. We need to put in more effort. But the growing leader is not putting in the effort. You're not a growing leader. A growing leader is the one that puts in the effort. And so you're telling people to put in the effort. You're also putting in the effort. You're telling people to go the extra mile. You're also going the extra mile. That's what makes you a growing leader. That's why you're a growing leader. You expect more, then you have to be more. That's why you're a growing leader. As I'm teaching this, I'm also speaking to myself. I'm speaking, and I want you to internalize everything I have said. Let it be you. I'm speaking to you. Say, I'm speaking, these words are for me. Internalize it. That I am a growing leader. I am a growing leader that listens, that learns, that looks, and keep looking for better ways to do things. And I truly love learning. I truly love growing. And I live it out. It's visible. A growing leader, your capacity to live out that growth is what makes it visible. And so you're not just talking the growth, you're living the growth, and people can see it. They can see it that you've become better. That you're not the same person, making the same mistakes, doing the same thing that you used to do. No, you're moving forward. You are shedding off things. That's what a growing leader is. A growing leader does not keep making the same mistake over and over again. They are willing to learn from their mistakes. They learn from it and they are better off for growing leader. And finally, about the growing leader. After all of these things, a growing leader, number 6, lights up everyone around them. They want everyone around them to grow. So they light up things. They light up the team. They light up everyone. They light up the group, the community. For them, growth is not just about them, it's about everyone. So they make sure everyone is growing. They invest in others. They encourage others. They help others grow. They become the light that helps others to shine. You see, a growing leader is not selfish in learning and living and doing all of those things and loving, but they become a light bearer for others to grow. So number 6, they are lights. They light up the team, the community. They light up everyone. Everyone is ginger to grow. Everyone is inspired to grow. Everyone is encouraged and motivated to grow because they see the light of their growing leader. And so a growing leader lights up everything. When you're around a growing leader, you want to grow because they're a light that you can see. How many of you have been around people that you just feel like, I just need to grow? This person is growing with so much speed. I want to grow with them. That's a growing leader. They just grow. You're around them and you can see their growth and they encourage you. They inspire you to want to be more. That's a growing leader. A growing leader inspires the team to want to be more. A growing leader doesn't lead the team the same. They want to attain more, be more. They're inspired. Because that growing leader is a light that lights up everywhere and makes visible what is possible. It makes visible what is possible. That's what a growing leader does. He lights up the place, lights up the vision, lights up the team, and makes visible to everyone what is possible. Makes it clear. And so every growing leader, everyone, every growing leader, every growing leader embodies these 6 habits that I've mentioned. They embody it, they live it. You see it reflected in them. They're great listeners. They're willing to learn. They are willing to look for better ways to do things. They're always looking for better ways to do things. And they really love growth. They love the process of growing. Growing leaders love the process. They love the idea of growing. And they live out this growth. They live it. You can see it in them. They are living it. They are living these values. They are living these lessons. They're living it out. That is visible to others. And finally, these growing leaders light up everywhere. They light up the team, the group. They're just that light that lights up everyone, that motivates, inspires everyone to want to be more. A growing leader just wants you to be more, and he encourages you, motivates you to be more. Who doesn't love a growing leader? Someone is thinking and saying, "Oh my God, what a leader that inspires me to be more." But here's the thing, the idea of today's teaching is to tell you that you can and will be and should be a growing leader in your office, in your team, in your home, in your family, in your business. Everywhere you find yourself, you want to be that growing leader. You want to embody these values that I've spoken to, these virtues that I've spoken to. You want to embody them. And so that's why you're here. You've learned some tools. I want you to go out there and practice them, apply them in your life. I want you to go out there and begin to see how you can apply all of these things so that you begin to display the growing leader that you have become. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'm happy to take questions in the question and answer session to give clarity in case you have questions. Please feel free to ask me any questions, especially with respect to some of the teachings on growing leaders. If you do have any question, thank you so much. And I'll be handing over the mic to our moderators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Michael. This was deep, straight to the point, and I must say, I've also been helped, and I can tell a number of other people on different platforms have benefited. And just to build up on that as well, please, if you've got any questions, kindly just post them across on the platforms that you are on, or you can back channel Sister Anne as well. That will be helpful. And due to the time that we have, if you are ready, I'll just go straight to our first question.
Absolutely, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, the 6 L's of great leaders. The great leader are amazing. So,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So I'll just start. Number one, how do you improve your listening skills as a leader? How do you make sure, that you're keeping, you keep getting better? I know you sort of like touched on, on it to different levels, but just, trying to see how do you really, as a young or as a potential growing leader,
Yeah, thank you so much, Samuel Ernst, for that question. You see, every leader must develop the competence to listen. It's an important competence if you really want people to, if you want people to follow you, they need to feel that sense that they are being heard. How would they know that you're being heard if you're not listening? You're leading the people, or you're leading a team and they are speaking, but you're not listening. You're hearing, but you're not listening. You're hearing what they're saying, but you're not listening to them. You don't even understand what they're saying. And so one of the key things that you do to develop your listening capabilities, number one, is really make up your mind that you are present when you're having conversation. Be present. Don't get lost in other things. Just really be present. Maintain good eye contact if you're physical with that person. In terms of you guys are physical, eye contact is key. You know, your body language is important. So it's your body language is a display of how you're actually feeling. There's certain body languages that shows that you have no interest in what this person is saying, right? So be interested. You know, sometimes we as leaders, when we want to be more, or we want to be interesting more than being interested. And I think it's just a common problem for us as leaders, is that in leaders we just want to be interesting. You know, you're having a conversation, you're quick to want to show how interesting you are more than how interested you are. So, but the key thing is that a great leader shows great interest. And it's when you make up your mind to be interested in this person and genuinely interested in them, you want to hear what they're saying. So you give them your attention. You give them your attention. You can't be having a conversation and you're pressing your phone. You say, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to you. It's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking when someone is talking to you and say, what did you say? What did you say again? I miss that. Because you're not listening. You see there. I've had experiences where I was talking to, you know, a manager, and I was expecting, and he wasn't listening to me. You know, I felt hard. I felt really bad. I felt so bad because I'm talking. I say, oh, sorry, what is it? What is it? What's it? What's that? That's just it. Just you lose that person. You see, as a leader, you need to know that some of these things is at this point you lose the people you're leading. They just see that you're not interested. So you need to give them your concentration. Sometimes, you know, I don't get into details, but sometimes I I just have to listen. And you're just listening, and you listen, and you listen, and you, so some people just want to talk, and you just listen to them, and you listen, not because of and at the end of the day, you're listening so that you really understand what they're going through, so that you can give them useful solutions. Useful solutions. If you don't listen, you will not understand. One of the ways that you can show, and I think it's a practical way, is sometimes ask questions when someone is speaking to you. Ask questions based on what they're saying, so you get more context, more clarity, right? Because they might be speaking and speaking and speaking. A way to show that you're catching and following what they're saying could be to ask questions based on what was said, you know, and all of that. So that is a demonstration that that you're really listening. So these are ways that we show, so as a leader, you must be able to give attention, listen, ask questions. Don't be distracted. Cut out distractions and be present. Be present. And make up your mind that I want to understand. The intention is to understand, right? The intention is to understand. Once you understand, you are able to communicate in a way that is helpful to the other person. So these are some of the things, maybe because listening itself is a master class on its own. But just to know the truth is out there. I probably would do a teaching on listening on its own. It's an important teaching for us to learn that skill. Yeah, thank you.
Thank Thank you very much, and thank you for such wisdom that you're dropping in here. The next one is actually related to current experiences that people are having coming out of COVID, etc. We are seeing that the working patterns have changed, and people are moving to hybrid working, remote working, contract working. How best can a growing leader excel?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's becoming very new to a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just wanted to add that I'm very happy to have Dr. Solomon. And Dr. Solomon, I'm sure that Dr. Solomon will also be able to contribute to this conversation as well, especially in answering questions. So I will give my own input, but also I love that we give opportunity for Dr. Solomon to speak as well, so that he can. I'm sure he has a lot of valuable input in answering these questions as well. Yeah. So you see, the COVID session or what happened during the COVID time really taught us a lot of lessons, and this actually somewhere else is like you went into my notes because it's something I plan to teach at some point, how to lead in the post-COVID world, because leading in the post-COVID world is something leaders are finding very difficult to adapt to. Well, I personally would, most of I mean, for me to take a job, my preference would be that it's a hybrid job, and I think a lot of us, millennials and Gen Zs, would rather do hybrid jobs than 100% office jobs, right? That's something that um, is very most millennials will really love. We will get used to this. So my point is that my point is that leaders will then learn how to manage people remotely. And for us in our community is a digital community. I think it's a classic example of managing people remotely, keeping them motivated, communicating, and really leading people from a remote. I mean, many of us in our community have not met ourselves physically, many of us, and all of that. But you see that level of organization, coordination, synergy. This is the template of the future of leadership, because you would have to lead people remotely in your office, in your business, in your workplace, in your team. You will have to lead remote teams and all of that. So how then do you manage these things? How then do you lead people as a remote leader or a leader in the post-COVID world? I think the first thing is to really emphasize the values. Emphasize the values. You have to emphasize the values. You have to resound the values to the team. The team must understand the values. Because now it's more of a voluntary thing. So people need to imbibe these values in order for them to be able to wake up in the morning, even though they're doing the hybrid work, to get to their desks and get the work done. So for you as a leader, you have to focus on imbibing, sowing that seed of the value of what we stand for as a team. Number two, you need to be able to sell the vision in a way that it makes sense to the team. You have to sell the vision in a way that they can take ownership of it. Until you do that, you will burn out. And so once you sell the vision in a way that they take ownership of it, you don't need, because everyone it's they take ownership of it. They feel like it matters to them. So how do you sell the vision in a way that take ownership of it? Is make them see themselves in the vision. You need to make people see themselves in the vision. When sometimes leaders make the mistake of selling the vision where they only speak, the only thing you see in that vision is the leader. That's the only thing you see in the vision. But a leader must be able to make the people see themselves in the vision. They must be able to connect to the vision. And that's how you own a vision. Once you connect to a vision, you own it. You own it, it becomes yours. And so once you settle these things, it's a lot more easier to get people to get the work done. It's a lot more easier to get them to get the work done. Because this is not so much about, it's not so much about the financial reward and all of that. It's about what matters. This matters to me. I'm doing something that matters. You have to encourage, build that. You have to build that foundation in the life of your team, or in the hearts of your team, that this matters to them, not just to you or the group, but to them. Make it personal. It's very, very important. So, but I'm not going to go into too much details of this. It's something I plan to teach during the course of this year. Samuel S, I think you got an expo into my notes, but I will not allow you to push me to give all the expo today.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Dr. Solomon, I don't know if you want to contribute anything at this point before we continue.
I think Pastor Mike has been, but the only thing I want to say that, because if I heard the question very well, is about how a great leader can excel, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and since as a leader, you achieving or succeeding is not you being able to kill tasks, or but you working together with people, or people working with you to achieve the goals that are set. So one of the things I normally see that I always want to comment about is the way some leaders, they give feedback. I was in a meeting of one of my old my bachelor days school society, and when they were talking, the person I was talking to people was not talking about how people should support a particular vision and something. And the way they were talking, I was just like, these people have not evolved. You're still talking to people who have done so much and about something, and you're trying to make them feel guilty that maybe that is the motivation. There are different types of motivation, ways to motivate. The best way to motivate, if you really want to excel with your people, is if you want to give feedback, maybe you want somebody to improve on anything. First of all, let the people know that they are, what they have done right. Tell them, let them understand that they are important. Then before you cannot tell them that this area, you can even tell the story in a minute of what they have done in the previous times, how that has, helped the work and that. Then you come in and keep it that. But now we are going to go this way, and I trust you people that you are going to support in this and that. If anybody has, by the time you have finished saying all these things, you also ask a question. If anybody has any objection or anything, they can be open to to speak so that they can be treated. But when you just come and just dish out what you want to do, tell them that, oh, we are supposed to do this, you need to, if you don't do this, you are that. If you don't do this, you don't, maybe especially the things of God like this. If you don't do this, that means you don't know, try to make the people guilty sometimes. You see that you will not get the people on board. You need, as if not everybody, you need majority of your team to be in the vision. You need them to be in their assignment, to accomplish their assignment. So it's very important that when we communicate with these people, we don't just dish out information. We have to make them, no matter how we want to inspire, maybe try to encourage them to do more, we need to also tell them what they have done, where before and where you are, and then you tell them how, what is required and how you believe, you trust them that you're going to do that. And people like to be spoken to, well. People don't like to be, maybe you have something you want to tell them, you try to reduce them, make them look like they are nobody until they achieve this or that, whatever it is they've done before. So that is just what I want to add, that the way we communicate to people, when we want to get them on achieving, greatness or achieving some smash some goals, we need to understand the feelings of emotional intelligence is very important. So that is just what I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And, time is always jealous when it comes to it's amazing. I'll just ask the last question. Last question. And, please, I'm sure you can do it in a minute, both of you, if you can. And then I will again then leave it to Dr. Solomon to close for us. The question is, when they feel stagnant as a great leader, what is their way out? They are working for an exciting organization. They've got a good pack. Everything is good. The opportunities is good. But it's the opportunities for growth. Everything else is fine, the benefits, etc. What's the way out? Do they leave? And at what point? How do you balance that? Thank you.
You know, someone else, that question you asked is a practical question. It's a real question that many of us as professionals, many of us as individuals must answer. And a lot of people are in that dilemma where they ask themselves, at what point do I leave? Or should I stay? Or is there room for growth for me here? You see, this is where the concept of a growing leader comes in. If you're a growing leader, what that means is that you're growing because you're led by a growing vision and you're leading a growing people. So write down what I just said. A growing leader is led by a growing vision and leads a growing people. When you are in a place where you're growing, right? When you're in a place where you're growing, you're not going to want to leave there because you know you're growing. And the truth is that someone say, well, Michael, could there be a peak? At what point does my growth stop? Your growth stops when your leader stops growing. That's the truth. And your leader stops growing when the vision stops growing. Because the vision is not growing, the leader is not growing, the people will not grow. And sometimes we're stuck because you feel like a person like, I want to grow, but your leader is not growing. Your leader is putting a lead on you. I need you to know that. Your leader puts a lead on your growth. And so you can't grow out of that. You want to grow, you can't grow. And so that's why you see people, they leave. They leave a community, they leave a vision, they leave a church, they leave a workplace because there's a lead on their growth. The leader has stopped growing. And they feel, and they're not, the leader has stopped growing, but they want to grow. So they need to find a place where they can grow. That's the thing. And so every one of us in this meeting, I want you to have a desire to be a growing leader. So that everyone you're leading, where you're leading, is growing alongside with you. And how you become a growing leader, like I said, imbibe the 6 habits. But you must have a growing vision. Your vision cannot be static. The vision must be ever expanding. It must be ever expanding. The vision. And if you read the stories of great enterprises in the world, they always start small, but you see they start expanding and expanding and start even going into other areas that was not in the original intent. You see them start expanding. You see a company that was maybe a phone company, because they have done so well in the phone business, they go into other areas. We are seeing that. We see that everywhere. We see how Facebook expanded to Instagram, to WhatsApp. They bought all of this. It's expansion, it's growth. The vision is ever growing. You see how Google started as a search engine company. Google started as a search engine company. But today, Google is everywhere, doing everything. It's growing. So we look at big enterprises that have expanded because they have growing leaders. Growing leaders. They are leaders that are growing. The vision is expanding and they're growing. And everyone is growing with them. And so, if you're working in an organization, or working in a team, every part of that, the key thing you must look out for is number one, is the vision growing? Because the growing vision empowers the leader to be a growing leader, which then empowers you to grow in the team. And so I want to be a growing leader. You want to be a growing leader so that everyone that you're leading is growing with you. Sometimes people leave because they don't feel like they're growing. That's the truth. They leave because they don't feel growth. They're not growing. They want to grow. And they leave a business, they leave an organization, they leave a group because they want to grow. And so every one of us individuals, make up your mind that you will follow a growing leader who is led by a growing vision. That organization, that business, that group, anything, make sure that it is growing. Let me tell you something. If it is not growing, it's either of two things. It's either it's growing or it's retrogressing. It cannot remain the same. And so the vision is either growing or it's retrogressing. You will hear of a business that was booming, and suddenly you don't know, you can't hear of the business again. It doesn't remain the same. In this world, in this system, in this side of life, you are either growing or retrogressing. Every area of your life, you are either growing or retrogressing. Many of you have heard of businesses, brands that existed before. They're nowhere to be found again. They were the Goliaths. They were the Goliaths, but they're nowhere to be found. They refused to grow. They were comfortable. See, no matter how big you become, successful you become, you must aspire to keep growing. That's how you sustain whatever you're achieving is growth. Growth leaders understand this. Once a leader stops growing, they start retrogressing. Once you can say two things, you have two things, two options. It's either you're a growing leader or a retrogressive leader. You have to make a choice. There's no in between. You're either a growing leader or a retrogressive leader. And so the two options are is either you are serving or you are being led by a growing leader or you're being led by a retrogressive leader. It's left for you to make that choice. Who you want to lead you, a growing leader or a retrogressive leader. And who you want to be as a leader, a growing leader or a retrogressive. I'm going to stop here for now. But I just want to plant this seed in your heart, in every one of us here. At the end of the day, you can't be static. You can't be stagnant. It's either you're growing or you're retrogressing. Make up your mind to keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mike. This was deep. What else can be said about this? A growing leader is led by a growing vision and leads a growing people. Wow. And that's exactly what is happening here at Spectacular Church. And I can assure you, you can join this family and you can benefit more, from what we continue to receive here. I'm going to leave time to Dr. Solomon just to round up and close for us with prayer. Thank you very much, Pastor Mike, and everyone else here.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much, Pastor Michael, for tonight. Thank you for your time. We sincerely appreciate you. And thank you for being a gift to every one of us here. We appreciate you as a gift and as a blessing to our lives. God bless you. And God bless you, everyone, for being here this evening. Thank you, everyone. I may not be able to call all your name from Nikita down to Folaremi. All of you, thank you for being here. Thank you, someone else, for